happy birthday, baby. Like, he comes over to me and, you know, I'm like getting grinded on by this hot guy. So I'm like, okay, you know, this is good. Like, I'm liking this. He like drops the towel. So I'm like looking like my face to his face, and we're like kissing, like almost making out. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a new Fella Friday video. So for those of you who are new to my channel, Fella Friday is the series where I talk about a different kind of boy or fella each Friday that I've encountered in my dating life. So today's story is a little bit more funny, but I've told the story to a lot of friends and they're always like, oh, you really should tell this on your Fella Friday video. So it is about the strippers. Yes, I know, kind of weird, but I do think it's kind of a funny story. This takes us back to November of last year, 2018, when I turned 21. So my mom and I always had a deal that when I turned 21, we would go to Las Vegas. We'd been to Vegas together like before, and I'd been to Vegas alone before, but obviously all those times were when I was under 21 and I couldn't gamble, I couldn't go to a club, I couldn't grab drinks, I couldn't go to a male strip club. So she'd always promised me that when I turned 21, we were gonna do all these things. So we decided to go to Las Vegas, and it was a super fun trip, and we had already planned ahead of time that the Wednesday that we were there, we were going to go to the Chippendales. And so Chippendales, for those of you who don't know, it's a male strip club, so instead of the strippers being female, they're male. So it's catered more to a female audience. So, we had dinner, we had a couple drinks, we got a little tipsy, so I was already heading to the Chippendales a little bit like ready. And I'll insert a picture of my outfit because trust me, it's important later, but you know, I wanted to look like sexy, you know, I was feeling myself. So I was basically wearing like black pants, a leopard lace bodysuit, which probably I should not have done, and like a blazer over it to make it a little bit more presentable. And then I was wearing like a b-day crown because even though it wasn't on my birthday, we were there to like celebrate my 21st birthday. So we get there, we're a little bit early, and there's like a little shop that you go in before you go into the theater, and you know, we're looking around, they have a bunch of sex toys and like memorabilia, and basically they were like, oh, if you buy something, you're on a list for like a raffle to get all of it, to like win a bunch of stuff. So I was like, okay, that's cool, like, you know, we should buy something. And literally a couple days after I was gonna return home from Vegas, it was like me and my friends were celebrating Dutch Christmas together, and we were doing like a Secret Santa gift thing that we do every year, and you always have to have like one funny gift and one like nice gift. So I was like, okay, I can get a funny gift. So there was this lollipop that was like a blowjob lollipop. It was flavored like a shot, and it was like in the shape of a penis. So I was like, oh, that's perfect, you know, I'll get that. Like, everyone will think it's fucking hilarious, and like, you know, it's from Vegas, so it's kind of funny. So I buy that, and they put my name on the list, and they were like, oh, so like, how old did you turn? And I was like, oh, well, I just turned 21, I'm here with my mom. And everyone was like, wow, that's so cool, you're here with your mom, and you just turned 21. So it was cool, everyone's being super nice. So we get like ushered in, and before you go to like where the strip club is, it's more of a show than like a strip club that you know, like with poles, stuff like that. It's not like that, it's more of like a show. But before we got in, like they have this little seating area where you can grab drinks. So everyone there is also like wishing me a happy birthday, and you know, everyone's like, you want a drink, you know, you're 21. So my mom ended up getting drinks, and there's this little sign, and we notice it while we're waiting, and it says maximum capacity 299 people. So we're like, okay, whoa, this is gonna be a really busy show. But in this waiting area, there were like max 30 people, like max. So at a certain point they open doors and we get to go in, and we'd already like booked seats pretty close to like the stage on the side. And they were like, oh, no, because it's your birthday, like, we're gonna upgrade you. So I was like, okay, great, you know, this is like the experience I wanted. And so there was like, the stage was basically set like this with like a little path in the middle, and it had like steps going down it. And there were 4 chairs right in front of these steps. And they were like, yeah, you guys can sit in like 2 of those chairs right in front of the steps. So we were the most like in front of the stage that you could get. There were rows behind us and rows to the side of us, but we were literally like I'm not even kidding, like this close from the stage. So 2 ladies sit down next to us, and they were telling us that this was their 2nd time here, and like one of them had just gotten divorced, and they were here for like a divorce party. They were pretty young still, they were like in their 20s. But the rest of the crowd starts coming in, and I swear to you, maximum 40 people or 50 people maybe were like in the crowd. So only really the sides and then our row and like one row behind us was filled up. So that was already kind of crazy. And it was a lot of different types of people, a lot of like older people. I think some people said like there was like one bachelorette party, one like divorce party, just like a lot of friends. There were a couple gay guys, so the crowd was all like really different. But I'm wearing my like crown, so everyone's like coming up to me like, oh, it's your birthday, that's so cool. The feeling was very informal. And so at a certain point the show starts, and this is where it starts to get crazy. So basically like everyone, the dancers all come on stage, start dancing, they start, you know, doing their Magic Mike stripping, but they also come down into the audience like the whole time during the show. So basically they like come down and they start like grinding on you like what you see in the movies, but they also, the first guy that like did this to me, he's like, happy birthday baby, like he comes over to me and, you know, I'm like getting grinded on by this hot guy, so I'm like, okay, you know, this is good, like I'm liking this. And suddenly he like pulls me up, so I was like, okay, he turns me around as if he's like doggy style having sex with me, and so it's like grinding on me like that, and I was like, okay, this is intense. And my mom and her are just like looking at each other laughing, and it like we have such a close relationship that for us it was hilarious, but I can imagine a lot of girls wouldn't want to go to this with their mom. So we were both like, okay. And I have to admit, I did expect to be like pulled up stage at a certain point because it was my birthday, I was so up close and center. And so sure enough, like after like the first or second song, a guy comes to me and he's like, hey, do you want to like come on stage? And I'm like, yeah, I do. So he takes me around back first, and he literally is like naked. Like he just has like a little thing like in front of his dick. So I was like, he's just talking to me, he's like, hey, where are you from? Like, well, how old did you just like turn? I'm like, oh, I just turned 21, like I'm from Amsterdam, which he thought was great, he'd been there before. And I was like, you are naked. And he takes me to like the dressing room where I have to wait, because he's like, yeah, they're setting up the scene and then you get to come on stage. And so what the scene was is one of the dancers, strippers, I don't really know what to call them, dancers I think is nicer, was like in a shower on stage, and he is like showering, and you can't really see anything, like you can see his outline but you can't obviously see him. The whole thing is you don't actually see like a penis during the show, sort of, I'll get to that. And what happens is I have to come like out, and like I sit on a chair and he like starts obviously like doing all his moves on me, then I have to clothe him, so, and like dry him off. So I'm sitting on the chair and he gets out of the shower, and you know, he has like a towel around him, and I'm like drying him off, and he's facing the audience, and so no, sorry, he's facing me, and so his butt is to the audience. He like drops the towel, so I'm like looking like, what the fuck? And they have like just a sock over their penis because obviously they have to like protect it from something. But I was like, okay, you know, and I'm like helping him put on his underwear, helping him put on, like, he was like putting on pajamas. But yeah, but at the same time he's like rubbing me, like kissing my neck. I was like, dude, this is so crazy. And what happens is I fully like dress him, and he stands behind me and he's like telling everyone like, oh, let's give it up for the birthday girls. Everyone's like clapping like, you go girl. And I was like, okay, you know, I felt pretty good. And at that point he stands behind me and he literally like pushes open like my blazer and kind of just like goes like this. But I don't know, I have pretty big boobs and I had a really revealing top, so like my boobs basically spill out of my top when he does that, and everyone in the crowd was like, did you just like touch her boobs? Like, and I think he even was kind of shocked, like he wasn't expecting them to, I guess, bounce like that when he did that. But I was like, oh my god, I should not have worn this, and like, I don't know, I was kind of like, shit, this is kind of crazy. But I was ushered back to my seat, and there was a lot of more like audience participation moments, but you only get chosen like from the audience once. You get like a sticker afterwards, and then you're done. You don't get chosen again. But still, at the same time, guys would like keep coming over to me because I was in the front row obviously, and like grinding on me and like stuff like that. And I thought it was pretty like intense, like they're really touching you, which I know at like a female strip club, like you're usually not allowed to touch the dancers unless you pay for a lap dance. So it's kind of crazy. And I don't know, the types of girls that were there, you could tell some of the girls like really wanted to like fuck these guys. there was one girl, she was wearing like the shortest panther skirt, and one of the things was that like there was a competition between 3 girls and they had to like grind on these guys, like show their best like twerking moves. And she's wearing this like panther skirt and starts grinding, and her whole skirt rides up, and there's like this guy, the MC, and he's like, whoa, like he actually like genuinely serious, he's like, you need to stop, like you're not even wearing underwear, like we can see everything. It was so crazy, you guys. I don't know, some of these girls were really out there. But yeah, so we enjoyed the show. It was crazy. And then we get to like the last portion of the show, and the guy's like, oh, we're gonna announce the winner of the raffle. And I like definitely didn't thought I would have won, but because I saw a lot of people with bags, so a lot of people had bought stuff, so I was like, okay, you know, it's definitely not me. But he's like, yeah, can Lois please come up to the stage, and like my last name, he's like, can Lois please come on stage? So I'm like, holy shit. Okay, so I walk up on stage, and he's like, well, you know, before I get to give you your raffle prize, like I have to tell you, like you have to tell me what you bought. So I was like, oh, I bought a blowjob lollipop. And I think like my mom said later that she thought that was the reason I won, because a lot of people had bought stuff, but you could buy like merch, so just like a Chippendales mug or t-shirt, and like obviously they don't want people to just like, you know, to come up and say, oh, I bought a t-shirt. So I'm like, yeah, and he's just like going on like, oh, we know what she likes and stuff like that. And then he was like, yeah, you're really gonna like this package, there's something vibrating in it. And I was like, okay, you know. And so I'm like kind of ready, and he's like, okay, before you are allowed to get down to your seat, you have to give me a kiss on the cheek. And I was like, okay, you know, whatever, this guy's fucking hot, they're all super attractive. So I'm like, I lean over to give him a kiss on the cheek, and he literally at the same, he's like holding, he has his arm around me, and he's like holding my head. And so I like lean in, and I'm about to give him a kiss on the cheek, and he like moves his head, and suddenly he's like holding my head to hit like my face to his face, and we're like kissing, like almost making out, like not just like mwah, a peck, like no, like 5 seconds our lips were like on each other, and I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, he even says in the microphone like, oh, I hope you come like over to meet us afterwards, because you can like pay to meet them, which we didn't do because I was like, I don't need to do that. But it was just a really crazy vibe. Like I feel like there are like a lot of the dancers probably would like sleep with some of the girls. I don't know, that was like the vibe I was getting. Like I said, I don't think I'm like super like amazing or attractive or anything, that's not what I'm trying to say, but like I did look good, like I was showing off my assets. And I think like, I don't know, the fact that he like kissed me, the other guy like was touching me and like kissing my neck, I don't think they do that with like everybody. Or maybe they do, maybe I'm not that special, but that's at least the feeling I was getting. But I was getting the feeling that there were definitely girls there trying to like have sex with them, and there were guys there, guys like dancers who like were down. So yeah, that was basically my Chippendale strip club experience. And then I got the goodie bag. A lot of it was like just like shit. It was literally like a poster of like all the Chippendales. I was like, I'm never gonna hang this up. But there were a couple of like fun things. A vibrator. There was some like playing cards with all of them on it. There was, I might even still have the bag. Wow guys, I even kept the bag. I still have it, so I can show you guys what was in there. What is this? A Liquor Up Pecker Party squirt bottle. So if you have like a bachelorette party or go out, you can put alcohol in this, and obviously it's shaped like a dick. And yeah, they had like an it's my birthday thing. They had like cards. Oh, let's see if this, no, these aren't any of the guys that I was with. Condom. See if there's anything else. And then just like some cute stuff. Oh, I should probably like take these out of here. Like a headband, some berets, lip gloss, nail file. I don't know, just like kind of like shitty stuff that you're never gonna use, but like also kind of cute. A magnet. So yeah, that was basically my Chippendale strip club experience. It was fun for once, but I don't think I'll ever do it again, unless I like have a bachelorette party probably. But I did really like that I felt so special, and I think it was a combination that we went on like a Wednesday, which like wasn't busy at all. And like that I was younger and like looked good, because a lot of people were like a lot older, were like in their 40s and 50s, and these guys I think are like 20s, 30s, 40s. They were like, the guys are still pretty young. And they all just looked really good. But I did think what was interesting, and not to get like all too political here, like with the kind of Me Too discussion that's happening in today's generation, I thought it was a little bit weird that they could just like obviously I didn't mind, like I'm very like open, and you know, like I don't think kissing is that big deal, but the fact that the guy kissed me, the fact that like the other guy was like touching like the sides of, yeah, my boobs, like stuff like that, the way the guys were kind of grinding on you. I just know that like in other strip clubs where it's like females, there's really like a no touch, or at least like when they're on the stage you're not really supposed to touch them or anything, and it was very different here. And I don't know, and yeah, I guess maybe you're consenting if you're like going there, but I just thought it was really interesting that like that was okay. But yeah, I don't know, I thought it was just like a fun story, a fun experience. Everyone's always like, what the fuck, when I tell them that I have made out with a stripper. But yeah, that's basically what happened. I'll insert some pictures that I have from the night, just so that you guys can kind of see. You're not allowed to take pictures during the show, which obviously makes sense because they are almost fully nude. But I would recommend it for like a birthday or like a bachelorette, and you have like every fantasy. There's like guys as firefighters, as cowboys on like a motorcycle. So yeah, this is not sponsored by Chippendales, but hey, if you guys see this and want to sponsor me, I'm down. But yeah, I hope you guys liked this story. Let me know what you thought. Leave a comment down below, like this video, and subscribe for more videos from me. I usually post a vlog or other video on Tuesdays, and I post Fella Fridays on Friday. So yeah, hope to see you guys again soon. Bye!